What's up, everybody? I'm Julio Rosas, Senior Writer at Town Hall. We got the honor of having Congressman Jim Jordan over here. Congressman, thank you so much for taking time here at CPAC. So just to get right into it, you're making the move to Judiciary to be the ranking member. So obviously, Judiciary has the kind of the final say when it comes to impeachment. And as I'm sure you're well aware, even though, yes, this recent one was defeated, some Democrats, like Eric Swalwell, he said, even with the recent Roger Stone testimony, they're going to keep all options on the table. And it's not just him, but you have Al Green, I believe, Maxine Waters. They say, we're going to probably try to impeach him again. So how are you going to handle that?
They're never going to stop. We just got to understand. They're never going to stop because remember, they started before he was even president. Right. I always say impeachment didn't start in July of 2019. It started in July of 2016, before he was president, when the FBI opened an investigation, spied on 4 American citizens, went to the secret court, the FISA court, misled the court to further spy on the Trump campaign via Carter Page, lied to the FISA court 17 times. So we know where they started. We know they're never going to stop. And the best evidence they're never going to stop is what happened 2 weeks ago. They went to the intelligence community, goes to Capitol Hill, briefs Adam Schiff and others on Capitol Hill about this Russia trying to influence the 2020 election. But they didn't tell President Trump what they were going to brief Capitol Hill about. And Schiff goes out and leaks it, and turns out what the intel community briefed Adam Schiff and the intel people on Capitol Hill about, turns out what they told him wasn't accurate.
It was misrepresented. They misinterpreted it.
So the same thing they did to him in 2016, they're trying to do again in 2020. So they're never going to stop. I don't think they're going to do another impeachment this year. We've got an election coming, for goodness sake, in 8 months. But I do think when President Trump wins re-election, which he will, I do think they'll try it again in 2021, 22, who knows when. So
if the Democrats keep the House after the election, you're going to be the ranking member, like I said, on the Judiciary. So how are you going to approach that?
Well, the truth. I mean, this is how we beat him last fall. This is how we beat him with this latest impeachment. It helps to have the facts on your side. The facts, the truth, were always on the president's side. And we got tired of saying this, but we said it for 4 months straight. 4 facts will not change, have not changed, will never change. And we would repeat those 4 key facts. We had the transcript, no quid pro quo. The 2 guys on the call, President Zelensky, President Trump, repeatedly said there was no pressure, no pushing, no linkage of dollars to an announcement of doing an investigation. We have the fact that the Ukrainians didn't even know aid was on hold at the time the phone call took place. And most important, fundamental fact, the fact that will never change. Adam Schiff tried to do everything he could to get around it, but the fact that will never change is the Ukrainians took no action, no announcement, no investigation, no promise to start an investigation in order to receive the money. So those facts, so if they try it again, they won't have the facts. There'll be some made-up hearsay, presumptions, assumptions, baloney that they always do. We'll beat them again if they do it. But I just think we need to remember they're always going to attack this president because they don't like this. Here's the fundamental fact. When you drain the swamp, my buddy Mark Meadows said this morning here at CPAC. When you drain the swamp, when you fight the swamp fights back.
Yep.
And they're going to keep doing it. Adam Schiff and Russian, we're going to keep doing it. We just need to present the truth, and we'll be fine.
So I interviewed Carter Page earlier this morning, and because he's coming out with a new book to give his side of the story of what he went through. He said that the Inspector General report, it was just very initial, and there was a lot of half-truths to what Inspector General Hortz found. Is there anything that you can be privy to when it comes to being with the FISA courts or anything?
No, I don't know any more than what we got in the Inspector General's report. Mr. Horowitz has done some good work that whether it was with Andy McCabe, whether it was with the Clinton investigation, the leaks and the email investigation they did, or this most recent one relative to what happened at the FISA court. Right. Remember what Mr. Horowitz told us. Yeah. They went to the FISA court, lied to the court 17 times. Didn't tell the court important facts like, the guy who wrote the dossier that they used to get the warrant on Carter Page so they could spy on the Trump campaign, the guy who wrote it, Christopher Steele, was desperate to stop Trump. And that's a direct quote. Steele had communicated that to Bruce Orr at the Department of Justice. They didn't convey that to the court when they went there. They didn't convey to the court that the Clinton campaign was paying Christopher Steele to put together the dossier. Right. Kind of important facts that they should have had. So we'll see what Mr. Durham's investigation, when that's complete. I think that'll happen sometime this summer. We'll see what happens there. But that's an important investigation. Hopefully, we're going to hold people accountable because the biggest concern I see is this double standard. And the idea, if you have a double standard in America, you've undermined the rule of law. And as Emmett Flood said about a year ago, right when the Mueller report came out, President's lawyer Emmett Flood said, we would all do well to remember, if they can do it to a president,
They can
Imagine what they can do to you and I.
Do it to anybody.
And that's the part that scares me the most, is if they can go try to set up a president, do the things they did, imagine what they can do to us regular folks.
So then, you kind of alluded to this before, because you're saying that they're trying to do it again, essentially, with that recent example.
We saw it 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
yeah, we saw it 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, what do you think you guys in Congress can do to help stem that?
We have to highlight it. Like anytime we see it, we got to do this. We got to talk about it. We got to be in the good press like you have and get the truth out to people. We got to talk about it. We got to bring it up in congressional hearings. We got to talk about it in the press. We got to talk about it on radio. We got to talk about it on TV. We have to talk about it. And then right now, we're getting ready to reauthorize the FISA law and some of the key aspects of the Patriot Act. So we got to do the reforms now. We can't wait and say, well, let's look a little. Look, we know. Think of the framework. Think of the big context we find ourselves in. 10 years ago, it was the IRS targeting conservatives. More recently, it was what the FBI did, what we've been talking about now. And most recently, it was Congress using the impeachment power in a terrible way, in a totally partisan fashion, to try to undermine the will of the people and overturn an election, I should say, and try to remove President Trump from office. And as part of that impeachment process, never forget what Adam Schiff did. Adam Schiff released the private phone records of the president's personal attorney, released the phone records of a member of the press, released the phone records of a Republican member of Congress, Devin Nunes.
Yep.
The chairman of the Intel Committee did that. That is crazy. So that's the lengths they're willing to go to try to get this president. We just need to understand they're never going to stop. We got to fight back.
All right. Well, I'm sure you'll be pretty busy this year, so we won't take up too much of your time. But Congressman, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for all the good work you do.
Absolutely. Thank you.